Hey folks, Weatherman Sam, man in the big green hat. I'm here at the Decatur Hospitality Park, which borders right up against the Swan Wildlife Management Area. We're hiking down one of the Alabama birding trails out to a bird blind, and then we're going to see what else we can find. It's a short little trail, a quarter of a mile or a third of a mile or so. It's kind of down this old gravel road. It's been some time since I've been here. You'll probably hear the traffic in the background. We're bordered on one side by Highway 31, and in the distance there you may can see the railroad tracks. They've done a lot of work here. It seems that they've cleared out a lot of this. It's very dry. Otherwise I would have brought my kayak. It can be very swampy. And all the times I've been here, I've never been able to get past this point to get to this birding blind. The water's always been too high. What a lovely little inlet here. Walk down and around and explore through that some after we climbed to the top. This is a pretty little view. This is a Norfolk Southern rail line. Now the other side of this is Swan Creek Wildlife Management Area. It's a pretty active rail line. There's a fellow down there walking. We're gonna go across here and see what we can find. Maybe get down to the edge of the water. There's some old sightings that I'd like to find and explore along too. About the easiest way down, and I can see. So we're gonna take this. Railroad ties look pretty good. There's two lines that join up here just before the drawbridge. The train today seems to be taking the other route, thankfully. Just a few hints of fall here. Hike along the edge for a while. See what we come across. There's lots of freshwater mussels through here. Lots of little minnows. I found a number of deer tracks, raccoon tracks. This mud's thick enough, it holds up under your weight pretty good. There's an old willow tree. That trunk's 5 or 6 feet across at the bottom here. I'd love to know the age of this fella. There's a gold fritillary butterfly that wandered by just then. Beautiful old tree. Try my hand walking this old guy here. Stay out of thick weeds. You see the pelicans? It's called the shadows. Oh, I'm so glad they've returned. They love a little place just over the other side of the highway called White Springs Dike. It's one of the best places to see them every winter. I didn't know they had already made it back here. It's beautiful birds. We're going to get up out of the mud flats here a bit and get into the woods. Oh. An old road bed here, or there's an old well siding, one or the other. A little inlet, a little slough. We've got a nice little stand of pines here. Let's see where this leads out to. This looks like it ends pretty quickly up here, actually. I see a bunch of cattails. Yeah, there's not really a way forward here. Come out into this dry slough, even though it's pretty muddy. Walk around the edge of this. This will be a great little place to bring the kayak up into. Just spool around. If you want to hike this, I will tell you, you got to be able to, or willing to get your boots a little dirty. That's some thick mud. And now I've come across an old railroad siding or something. I got to figure out how to get up and through these weeds. There we go. Check this out. Some beautiful land out here. There's an old abandoned boat in the water here. That's what it appears to be. Looking back now, there's the bridge that we started at in the distance. Keep following this road. There's some swamplands, another little dewatering slough on the other side of the tree line. At some point I'm going to make my way out there and see what kind of trees are around. There's a cypress or the tupelo gums. Slight deviation in plans. There's another little road that's tailed off here to the right, up to that slough that I wanted to see, and it's a little less grassy. So for the moment we're gonna hike this. See what's up here around the bend. It's a giant mound of debris of some kind. There's more old roads out here. There's a food plot. Lots of butterflies. A mound of dead trees. There's lots of birds around. Those look like juncos, but I can't tell quite. I should take a moment and talk about all of the different little wildflowers that I'm seeing here. This is heath aster, still in bloom. This is slender false foxglove, I believe. And this seems to be thoroughwort, but when they go to seed like that, I tend to have some trouble. So some wild peas back there. Now we're getting into a little bit of all colors here. It's pretty. Somebody got a piece of corn. Most of the kernel's eaten out of it. Now we're finally coming across some of this. Where'd he go? Oh, there was a huge shadow of a bird I came across, but I missed it. And so anyway, there's finally some evidence of some water coming up in here. So I wanted to go over and take a look at that. There he is. Some artichokes still in full bloom. Looks like they plowed a lot of the woods out through here. Left it in piles of burn to create this food plot. This seems to be what's happened. Can't get much closer than this, it's too muddy. Those backwaters, I want to paddle. That looks good. I've deviated off course a little bit. Oh, you're a pretty little butterfly. Walking the rows of this giant food plot. There's still a lot of corn left out here. But I like it because this stays close to the edge of the water. And that's more interesting to me than the tree line. I like that on the way out. Well, here's the end of the line for this. We'll go back up this way. I'm back up on the road. Past other little wildflowers, Indian heliotrope, and water got too much on the food plot, so I made it back to the old road. It's creeping up again. We're about up to the other leg of the railroad. There's another old grassy road bed that's tied in here. That's pretty thick. I'm gonna stay where it's clear for now. Sure, some beautiful wildflowers still out and about, and lots of butterflies. Lots of pipevine and wild acheratum, white snakehead, and these gold fritillaries. He's moved on. We're loving this area over here. Even though the water is low, it's pushed through, and this will be a ford, but it's not going to be forded by me. Let's see if we can travel up into the woods here a bit and get across it. The woods are open. We move pretty easily through here. And the water at least is getting shallower, but it's also getting wider. Figure out at which point it's actually crossable. Here we go. We're up on an old service road now. Right along some of the train tracks. We'll see if there's an easier spot to cross. Up ahead. Back down on the other side of the train tracks now. On a little road bed. Although this is mowed. And there's a maintenance shop probably at the far head of kind of stopped mid-sentence. I was this appears to be an actual beehive or hornet's nest or something. There's tons of, they're not honeybees. I'm not getting any closer than this. Pretty cool to see though. But the headquarters for the WMA probably uses this access road. We're going to see if we can get closer, get some views of the river. The Singing River. I'm about 2.5 miles into this. There's a great vantage point here of the Tennessee River. There's some pelicans way out there. Let me see if I can use the zoom to catch them. We have a great view from here. It's so quiet. Nobody around. Beautiful river. We're going to go off down into the woods here and get a look at Prior Branch and some of the little swampy areas. There's a dewatering management area over here before we head back. Reasonable way enough down into it. A lot of fire here at the start. There we go. There's some nice old grove trees in here. A bit of a ridge, and I don't know if this is the foot of that sewer pipeline that was mentioned earlier that I saw on the sign, or just a random little nudge of land. Up to the edge of the water here. Just have to do some searching along. See if we can't find an open view. Making my way through some head-high weeds to get to this old roadbed. And the aerial imagery kind of shows it to be a little inlet of a swamp of some kind. I want to go see that. I was trying to follow the train tracks down to the edge, and there was no way down. The brush is too thick to walk along the shore, and the water's still a little bit high. So I've had to backtrack a hair. Nothing else when we cut off through the woods here. If this gets too much. This drought that we've had, this little backwater slough is completely dry, but this may be a great spot to revisit here in a couple of months once the rains come again. And there's storm damage, obviously, along this old road that's just being reclaimed. Looks to be impassable ahead. So we're going to cut across country through the open woods. This whole area is just so dry. Far distance I can see the edge of the cornfields and things that we walked through earlier. Gonna staying closer to the edge of the river as best I can. Hoping I've walked far enough to get across, get past that storm damage, and get back down and walk the edge of the river on out back to the car. These are beautiful woods. It's open for the most part. Easy hiking. And out of the pines, back to a more open sun. There's a lot of bamboo. River cane going through here. Just about to walk past a little cove that I wanted to see. Back up to the old road bed here. And just find a way down to the edge. Here we go. No real trail here, you're just gonna have to blaze your own path. Not even worth looking for an easy path at times. Just plow straight ahead. Tiny little island. I've spooked 2 herons. Unfortunately, I couldn't get them on video. Beautiful birds. This mud is so thick. Beautiful maple here, turning colors. And I'd love to walk the length of that water oak. Have to round the bend into the last little cove before the bridge. We've run out of ground here to walk along the river on. We're going to turn inland. Pretty thick through here. Maybe about to get to somewhere I can get out of this. It's important to video these kind of things to me. Kind of show what you have to go through to get to some of these places. See if I can get out here quick enough. Oh, this is some super thick mud. But I can hear the train coming up one of these tracks. You can get a view of it going over that bridge. Fortunately, I think it may be that guy over there. We won't be able to see it at all. Now we're back to where we started. We came down over there. Walked the length of this inlet. And got up on an old road over here. And walked that and got off that way. So instead of taking the slough route, the old road bed we came out on earlier, following it back up. And I want to see where it joins or crosses the tracks up here. It's been a fun little adventure. There's always something interesting to see around. I hear the train. We're crossing a little dry slough here. Let's see if I can grab a photo of this. This will be up on a bit of another little high road, looking down on the train tracks, but I don't want to get down. Well, unexpected, but I didn't pay attention to where I was walking, basically. And I walked down into another little slough that's actually between two old railroad sidings. The thing that I was actually on up there would have been an old railroad siding, and if I followed it back to the right, instead of trying to get down to here, I would have made it back to the main line. This is usually underwater. There's a huge nest up here. Lots of little moss and little shimmering puddles and stuff. Unexpected, but fantastic little surprise. Let's see what else we find. Some view of the little swampy area I've come out in. We're going to go further up into it and maybe crossing one of those logs up there. That's a little too thick. That's almost knee deep. Lots of little dens across the way, or maybe these are springs. I can't quite tell from here. This looks like it's been built up. Maybe there's beavers living up in here. Water in the channel is deep enough you can go for a swim if you wanted to. I hope this log holds me, basically. There we are. Good deal. I'm kind of look into some of these dens over here. As much as I can. I do believe now that's what this is. Something's made homes all along through here. Up on another one of the old railroad sidings. That was one. Here's two. There's the main tracks. Now I just got to get over all this deadfall. Woof. We made it. Thank you for coming along with this little adventure. Till next time, keep exploring and stay wild, folks.